Thunderstruck. Yeah, the internet's trying to thunderstruck your mind. It's trying to take over and make you be a Ramencephalon mediator of life. It's trying to stick you into your back brain and stay stuck, causing a new form of a human being to be electronically nullified by human beingness. What do I mean? Well, the more you're on your computer, the more the beta brain wave turns on from the computer. This stimulates the back of the head more, the back. And the back of the head is the hindbrain. Now, what they're trying to get you to do is to become more addicted to the computer and to AI and to artificial intelligence. And they're trying to teach you and educate you that that is better than nature, that is better than the stars, and the satellites they're putting up there they want to get you in that frequency more than in nature. So they're literally trying to reprogram you. Now, I've learned this slowly over time by being ill from cell phones, ill from computers. And I took it out not as my mission, but I didn't like what it was doing to my biology. And then so I decided to observe it. I like to observe. My dad was a good observer, so was my grandma, my mom's mom. They were good observers. And so I thought I'd borrow that talent that they had and incorporate it within myself. My dad was more of an observer about personality, where my grandma was more of an observer about personality, but also about good and bad in people. And those genetics, people become your eyes inside, not eyes, physical eye, but personalities. You can tune into some of them. And then, if you like it, you try to bring that to your single eye or yourself more. In other words, the different eyes from people that or different personalities, they influence your life. And you can manage that from them as a gift. It starts in the gut center is where it starts. And you're trying to ultimately get your gut center to become one in what they call the lower brain or the celiac ganglion or the solar plexus. And that, to the ancients, they called that the third chakra or the transformer chakra or the power chakra. So technology is trying to get that controlled through technology, through the imagery of technology, changing the brain to get addicted to the imagery of AI and computers. When someone's addicted and their mind is entranced by the cell phone or the computer, they become a prototype individual or a robotron, part human and part robotic in a way, where they're stuck on perfectionism of something. And, it can be intellectual, it can be emotional, it could be physical, which causes the human to stay stuck in the consciousness of our quote-unquote modern science, which is pseudo-chemical or synthetic chemical and technology. And that's not as good as it gets, our science. It gets better in the truer science, which is quantum physics. Quantum physics, ancient name, was metaphysics. So Science is just trying to rewrite the script of things that were already known. And then they're trying to advance it in technology, telling you that, this is it, we're it. But as they carve out old civilizations, they saw, oh, they have lasers, oh, they had electricity, oh. But before they poo-pooed, put down the ancient civilizations, saying how stupid they are. But science, doesn't really admit its faults too much. It just starts to pick up, just like some churches do, and change their mindset about it and just change it as though they figured out something new. Then they try to program you with mass media of what they figured out. Then they try to manipulate your mind with their program. If you hadn't noticed, like if you start scrolling, I will scroll and I will observe what the patterns are in the scrolling. And what they're trying to do is get your mind to readjust to the computer over time. For instance, they will have a theme, like with the president, let's say, that he's been shot or he's been killed, and then they'll run that over and over and over. And then, the guy's not even dead, but they'll run that over to try to entrance you. They're trying to shock your nervous system of false realities so that you start to believe that whatever's on the computer as a false reality. This lowers the consciousness of the human being into a lower consciousness because it's filtered through a second dimensional device, aka cell phone computer. We're in the 3D world, but we're trying to get a fourth dimension, which is evolution. The fourth dimension, the dimension beyond polarity. And so they're trying to lower the consciousness into a 2D form, ideation in the mind, and get you to be more robotic with it. The reason why I don't like it much is because they're trying to replace the star system. Now, if you're Christian and you're on the old model Christianity, which is patriarchal, it's all about the male and Big Daddy, which is what AI is all about, which modern medicine's about, and the government's about, and all these higher authorities, they're about the patriarch. Well, so be it. Be the patriarch. But when you're in the patriarch, you're in AI. So know the games of the patriarch, and know they just want you to think all or none about their gadgetries, and they feed it to you, and then they get that it's good, and then they try to brainwash you into, quote unquote, the goodness of it. They don't give you the pathogenesis of it. They don't talk about the suicide mission on some of the things that they do. But give them another 25 years, they'll take some of the hidden studies and they'll say, oh, by the way, this causes brain tumors. And, this is where they hide this stuff from the public. And they know it, but they hide it. And this is where so many people become ignorant, so ignorant about life, and don't even know they're being controlled. So they become dummies thinking that the computer is their whole life. Now, why I like astrology, because it's not astronomy. I like astronomy, but I like astrology better because it's more accurate of the soul, because it's natural and it's a biorhythm of the world that we live in to the star system. Now, science is always thinking that they're the boss and they need to evaluate everything before it's true, which is false. All they're doing is rewriting the script of things that were already known and change the names to it to act like they're bigger. That's the patriarch. If you haven't figured that out, check it out. Check it out. You'll see. I'm not telling you BS. No. Because the patriarch's kind of out of control that way, world wars, dominance, which culture's better, which religion's better, let's run the world. Instead of God runs the world, instead of universe runs the world, they get tapped into that BS and try to brainwash you into their systematic approach. So, stars are vibratory rates of the astral world. Astral, the light world. It's the night. The stars, you see them. You don't see them during the day, you see them at night. What's during the day? The sun. So, you may see occasionally a planet, star in the sky or something, and during the day, Venus is sometimes visible. But at night, you see more. If you're in a big city, you don't see so many, but you go out in the country, you'll see a lot more. Those radiations of those vibratory rates of those star systems have been impressed on the Earth millions of years, way longer than the 50s before they start getting so technological. But they're coming along now and they're trying to tell you that this is it and this is what we got. This is what's called an acquired integration, which isn't always the truth. True truth is in the innate. True truth is stuff that's been around millions of years. So they're trying to reprogram your back mind and make you on an acquired truth that they invented, trying to manipulate your consciousness and tell you it's better than nature. Now, if you haven't studied nature much and you don't know much about the stars, you know that nature kicks ass. You know anytime nature wants to, it'll make a tornado or a hurricane, a tremendous storm, a hurricane, a tsunami wave, earthquake. Earth kicks ass. Who's doing that? We are. We're the idiots that are doing that. We suck oil out of the earth. We do all kinds of things to the earth and act like, oh, that's cool. Let's just keep doing that instead of using our technological information that we are building as a mass consciousness and incorporating it for the betterment of humanity, not for keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, you don't have an iPhone? You need the iPhone. That's your problem. No, a phone is a phone, right? A computer is a computer, but there's all this competition in the computer world, in the technological world, which only causes friction. I was in China. I was over there in the 80s, late 80s, and they would have like these computers from the 70s at that time there, and they just loved it, right? And then I come over here and they had, more advanced ones, and it was like, no, you gotta have one of these. But people are people, man. If something functions, works, they love it. Well, nowadays, China's more upgraded, and they got all kinds of things that way. Every culture is different. When your culture is trying to be the best at everything, and it doesn't really integrate other cultures, we're not helping the world. We're the best. This is a pride conflict, or an envy conflict, or an arrogance conflict, or a heated up anger about, or a guilt complex from killing off people a couple 150 years ago. It goes through the consciousness of people, the past. And we are working out that consciousness. So when we have old problems and we act like it's nothing, we don't really get closer to God or spirit or universe. Our goal is to do that as humans, as humanity. In order to do that, you have to know yourself. In order to know yourself, you got to know you. So a cheat sheet is your zodiac chart. It's the best cheat sheet. It talks about soul. Well, if you're a total scientist, you're like, that's not me. None of it is. That's because you're in the world too much. You're too worldly. If you settle down and you really start to know yourself deeper, you'll see those ancient truths of the zodiac are true. You'll see a lot of those things come to life. I got into the zodiac about 30 years ago. I asked the universe or God, I said, God, this is weird stuff. I don't know if I really believe in it or not. I'm kind of into signs, but I need some proof. I need something that tells me that this is right on. Well, at the time, which I still am, I was really into synchronicities. And at that time of the year, it was Scorpio. The star system Scorpio was on. After I asked that question to God, God sent me 3 new clients. They were all Scorpios. And then after I got 3 new Scorpios, Scorpio in the old system of the zodiac, the biological correspondence anatomically is the genitals. So I got 3 new clients, and guess what they all had? They all had venereal disease. Different types of venereal disease, but they all had venereal disease. I thought to myself, is that a coincidence? No. God don't roll dice with the universe. God's talking to me, letting me know, yeah, it's a true science, and here you go. Here's 3 of them, and they all got a similar problem. One had venereal warts, one had chlamydia, and the third one, I think, had herpes. And so they all had a different thing in the same area, which was the correspondent to the old system of the zodiac. Well, that opened my mind. It was like, yep, there's something up here. And I found with every sign, a lot of people go, nah, I'm not really into that. Nah, doesn't work for me. And all right, well, I'm going to still watch them. I'm going to still observe them. I'm not going to let them slide. I'm going to watch to see the polarity within that sun sign first, and then I'm going to tell them. And a lot of them, I told them, and they go, well, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I didn't know I had that. I was unconscious. So in other words, the ancient system that is used astrologically is a true system for the soul. Yet we're trying to make everyone about their body and that God's in the sky, when the reality is God's within us. And the reality is we're all a piece of God. We're all an aspect of God in God's creation. And our goal is to get back home with God. This is a testing ground that we are sent to acquire the best, not, be the best, get this stuff, best pole vault, or best track and field, or best, right? You can do all that stuff, but it's more your relationship with truth, with spirit, or God. And if the soul unifies with that, well, you're starting to get on the right track, because that's why God sent us here. The astrological system is a cheat sheet to understand at the soul level more about your continents, your personality, and your drives. So to discount it and just act like it's poppycock, you're just doing what science did a couple 100 years ago, and then, no, that stuff's not true. We'll figure it out. And making it all about stats and gases and all that, which is great. I love that stuff. But there's a whole metaphysical reality behind that, or a level of physics. And you cannot find the soul unless you apply physics to the self properly, again and again and again. Astrology relates to physics of light. It's light science. It's no made up crap. The scientists in Africa went to go visit the Dogon tribe, which is a small tribe in Africa, and they said, well, you guys are saying that, and there's a star at the top of the earth that the earth wobbles around called Sirius A. And they said, well, there's a Sirius B, and the scientists, because they're using telescopes, they don't find it. They said, no. There's another star system up there that's B. Well, it took the scientists about 40 years to find it. Then they said, they're right, there's a Sirius B. What do they know about it? See, and they're getting their information from them. They said, well, the Earth's axis is changing from A to B because there's a wobble in the Earth, and there's an acceleration at the top of the Earth, and it goes faster, and the axis at which the Earth spins on transforms and rotates slightly more. The axis changes, so it goes to Sirius B. And when it does that, the time goes faster. And they're telling the scientists this. The scientists, nah, come on. Oh, really, really? Then years later, they find it. They go, wow, there is a Sirius B. And then after they finally found it, they go, yeah. Well, that's not it. There's a Sirius C too. And it's going to take a while, but it'll go to that. Now, how did they know that? Well, there's a lot of traditions that know things from the stars of stories that are passed on, not thousands, tens of thousands of years. And the science are coming around and acting like that's nonsense? No. They had to listen to the Dogon tribe in Africa. They need to listen to more of these other tribes. They finally found on the east coast of India, down in the ocean there, that's where India is before it was India. There's the old civilization 6,500 years ago where Krishna was. Krishna, in this last orbit of the Earth, there's been 6 of them, was the first, like Christ. In other words, Hinduism is Christianity revealed differently. And Krishna, the name, means Christ. It's the same name. And if you think I'm crazy, you read the Bhagavad Gita. It is the most romantic truth book around. It's incredible. I haven't read it front to back, but I've read excerpts from it over and over, read from them, taught from some of it. Wow, it is most beautiful. It is like the Bible. It's a truth book. So the ancients have a lot to teach. Astrology has a lot to teach. And if you incorporate it in your life to understand yourself better, you will see pivotal areas where you get stuck that you can change and rearrange because of limitation of knowledge that wasn't applied appropriately. Let it help you.